talk now. One call, told me you see me later. I ain't really worried about no motherfucking hater. I'm just really stacking cheese, I'm just stacking paper. Kicked up in the field, catch a tell patient. God send it at your time, yeah, song wait. We up, on fleek. Gotta stay on my hustle, gotta keep elevating. Got the rack stacked up, yeah, I'm hella cake. Tell me what you saying, yeah, I get that.
Hey, what's up, Becca?
Hello.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the People's Choice episode 8, and I'm joined here is my true honor. This is a great friend of mine's, Becca the Tank. You know, I love that name. I always let my guests do a little introduction for themselves starting off, so you can have the floor.
Okay. Well, my name is Becca, as you know. I am 22 years old. I currently live in Raleigh. Me and Dom just moved up here recently. I am a competitive powerlifter. I compete in USAPL, and I create bartending content on Instagram and YouTube as well. I work in Wake Forest as an office manager, and yeah, I don't I don't have a whole lot that's going on in my life right now. So
I mean, those are incredible things right there. You gotta give yourself a little more credit than that. That's awesome, Becca. So did you grow up in North Carolina, or like, are you from? Oh, you're from North Carolina? Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm actually from Jacksonville, North Carolina. If you know where that is, it's on the coast.
One of my biggest supporters too, living in Jacksonville right now. Shout out to you, John. I'll see you in December, okay, bro? I'm gonna see you in December.
Is he coming up?
What was that?
Is he coming up, or are y'all going down?
Oh, I'm going down. I'm going down to see him. I couldn't make it to his birthday. I ended up catching a really bad cold, so it dampened that. But I told him I got him in December. I got a break for my job coming up, so
Nice.
I'll see him.
Exciting.
Definitely. So you said you grew up in Jacksonville. What was that like for you growing up in Jacksonville?
I mean, I grew up on a military base, so you get to see a lot of different things while you're growing up, different kinds of families, different kinds of cultures. So it was a very unique experience. I didn't really move out of Jacksonville like most military families do. So I graduated high school down there as well, and that's when I ended up moving to Fayetteville, which is another military town. So it was like kind of jumping from one military town to another. It wasn't that much of a culture shock, surprisingly. But yeah, it was interesting for sure. I don't really talk to a lot of people from high school from back there anymore, but there are a couple that I still do talk to, some of my very, very close friends. So
that's awesome. You know, that's what it's about. You know, you got to keep that select few and, keep them close, because I wish I could keep in touch with everybody from high school. It's just kind of hard, but the ones I do, they know that I love them.
Exactly.
And you went to college out there too in Fayetteville, right? You went to Methodist, right?
Yeah, I went to Methodist University. I graduated with my bachelor's in business administration and marketing.
Awesome. Get you. What was Methodist like? I had a couple friends that went there. They said it was just a little too much for them though. But how was it like there for you and graduating and stuff?
It really wasn't that bad. It's not a party school, to say the least, because it's a dry campus. So it's a little bit different than a public school too, because it is private. I actually didn't have that bad of a time at Methodist. I, for the most part, actually enjoyed it there. I made a couple of really close friends, and I ran cross country my freshman year. I did pretty decently in college. It's hard to talk about my experience because I didn't do much after my freshman year. I worked full time for most of the time I was in college, so I didn't get like that full experience of like, oh, I just went to college. Like, I worked full time. I went to school full time. I did everything I possibly could. So it was interesting, to say the least.
Definitely. And it's funny you mentioned the cross country, because it's one of the mailbag questions we'll get to a little later. Someone asked about have you played other sports, but you answered already, so we'll get to that a little later on the show. So let's talk about powerlifting. When did that journey really begin for you?
So I kind of started powerlifting in 2017. I really did not compete until 2018. But my first introduction to powerlifting was in 2017. And I was in the school gym one day, and I met a couple of people that powerlifted, and they were like, hey, you should really consider doing this. So I started doing some of the basic movements, squat, bench, and deadlift. I was trying to build up a stronger core so I could maintain stuff like that. And then I got introduced to raps. I got introduced to competing, and then it just kind of took off from there when I did my first competition in March of 2018. And ever since then, I've just kind of never stopped.
You are a natural at that. Believe it or not, you've been doing this only since 2017. That's amazing. Because I've seen your videos and follow you. I mean, you know, your form is really good and everything. You're just constantly growing. So that's great, Becca.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. It's been a lot of work. It's definitely not something that happened overnight for me. It took a lot of adjusting and nitpicking myself, but you know, when I had a coach, I really enjoyed having someone to feed off of and to learn from and to listen to and to really get that feedback. So it's been interesting so far.
Awesome. And what was your first meet like?
It wasn't bad. I actually don't remember much of my first meet. So I originally started competing in powerlifting and wraps. And if you're not familiar with that, it's not a knee sleeve. So it's this very stretchy piece of material that you literally wrap around your knee, and it holds your knee in place while you squat, and it's meant to give you extra stability and support when you're coming out of the hole in the squat. And it's supposed to help you add anywhere between, I think it's like 30 to 50 pounds on your squat. I don't know the exact amount that it's supposed to add, but there's science that proves, there's science behind it all. And I remember my first squat, I got it up and I was fine, and then it fell off of my back because I was so nervous. Yeah. And I was in a monolift. So a monolift is like, they have J hooks that come down, and then there's a I'm trying to remember the name of it. It's kind of like a jack where it lifts the handles up and you don't have to walk out the bar. So all you have to do is stand there and make sure that you have it on your back. And they didn't bring it down in time, so it fell off of my back. Like, they had me holding it there for a good 10 seconds. So I guess it just fell off of my back. And yeah, it was really weird. But I used to actually bench really close grip. So I was benching like right here. It was
same.
Really weird. It was uncomfortable, but
very.
Since then I've actually expanded my grip. But
like when I was playing football and constantly working, I used to do close grip bench as my regular bench. My coach used to get on me constantly, like, "You're gonna mess up your elbows, your wrists eventually." Why didn't have? I'm like, "All right, coach." He's like, "You see the line on the bar? What?" And I found you when you said you did. I'm like, "Oh, okay, I'm not alone."
No, a lot of people start doing close grip when they first start with bench, and then they just kind of find their way out. I actually do the max grip in my federation now, which is my thumb along the ring. So it's like I'm like all the way out here when I'm benching. So it's actually a technicality thing, but I enjoy close grip. Like, I still do close grip, not to that level where it's like this close. But
So when you you dived into that fitness industry basically in like 2017, so who was really like someone you looked up to or like inspired you really to just stick with it?
Oh gosh.
Is that a good question?
It is a good question, but I honestly can't think of anybody, and not in a bad way. I've been an athlete my whole life, and powerlifting has given me a different sense of purpose. And of course, it's not my only identity, or it's not my only thing. And it's been something that I've just grown with. I don't know. I guess it's just kind of like I've been the one keeping myself going on it. My boyfriend has inspired me quite a lot in the recent years, since we've started, dating and whatnot.
He's such an awesome guy, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He's been a very big inspiration for me, of course. I just don't have anybody that sticks out in mind, though. I could say anybody in the sport, really, because this is a very hard sport, and you have to have a certain level of crazy to keep going with it.
Oh yeah. But Becca, that's amazing though. Like, that's just some high praises, because like with me and many people that I know, we had to kind of like watch these videos to keep ourselves on track, motivated or like who to like pattern. But for you, you're like basically just me. Like that's amazing. Like that's a strong mindset to have. Like that is awesome.
No, thank you. I appreciate that.
Now, we know 2020 has been a roller coaster of a year, especially with, COVID and stuff going on. And, seeing like, your videos and your competition and stuff, I have to ask, what is it like working out with that mask on? Like, I can't imagine, like, it's hard working, let alone like trying to move and lift. Like, how is that?
It honestly doesn't bother me at all. I'll be quite honest. Like we have, it's kind of like a stretchy fabric material for the mask that allows me to still be able to breathe and work out in it without having to feel like I'm being suffocated. I think a big part of it is the material that you're wearing. I feel safe and I feel comfortable working out at the gym still. I competed in a mask, was not bothered by it one bit. Like it is what it is. And you just kind of have to suck it up and realize like, okay, yeah, I might not like it, but in order to protect others and to still be able to do what I want to do, I have to do this. It's really not that bad though. I will say in the summertime, it was very brutal. Not because I couldn't breathe in it, but because you know how hot it gets here in North Carolina.
Oh yeah.
The AC was out in our gym here in Raleigh the first couple of weeks we moved up here. And it was like dead of August. So it was painful. It was a little painful. I was having a lot of dizzy spells back then, just because the AC was out and you're sweating and it's 90 plus degrees out without the humidity, and then add the humidity on. It was a mess then, but now I'm a lot more comfortable for sure.
Because for my viewers, I know you guys are all around, but North Carolina heat that's something serious. You ain't got no AC, woof, it's rough.
It's brutal. Summers here are brutal for sure.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So let's talk about your YouTube channel. You got basically, 2 or possibly some more in the works. I did catch that last episode, but let's talk about your fortune favors.
Okay.
For the bold. Sorry, I put that in there.
I'm not really sure what to talk about. It was really just a training series for me. It was kind of an experiment to see what I liked and disliked about talking about my training openly. I post about my training on my Instagram, but actually diving into it on a YouTube series was a little bit different. So for me, I was really just aiming to make it kind of like I guess in a sense, like a diary, quote unquote, a diary anyway, so that when I am still competing in a couple of years, I can look back and be like, oh, okay, this is what I was doing 2 years ago. Like, this is why I was doing X, Y, and Z. It's more so just like a documentation thing that I was doing. And I would love to keep doing those. It's just a matter of when the next meets are going to be because of all the closures and whatnot right now, which sucks. But I'm intending on doing something very similar in terms of like training vlogs again and whatnot, just not making them as, I guess, like stiff, where I'm just sitting here talking to a camera about what I did on squat, what I did on bench, what I did on deadlift, what I focused on, what I felt I could have worked on better, what I could have done with this or that. I think that might be my next route with those training vlogs. Because I seem to get a little bit better feedback when I was doing things like that.
Mm-hmm. So basically, everyone stay tuned.
Yeah, for sure. I'm still going to keep up with the bartending videos, but I'm kind of figuring out what I like to make and what I don't like to make, on top of, working full time and coaching all the time and training full time. So it's been a balancing act for me, and YouTube has been kind of on the back burner as of recent in that aspect anyway.
Yeah, I relate to that very well because like I show like a lot of attention to, the show from Facebook and Instagram and stuff. And then I'm still trying to balance out my life. And then like I have people hit me up, hey man, your YouTube channel is looking a little dry there. You just upload the finished product. I'm like, yeah, guys, we gotta get used to that, documenting my steps and stuff. But I promise all my peeps out there, I'm gonna get better at that. I got on my to-do list. So I understand you completely, Becca.
Yeah, shit happens, man. You just gotta kind of go with it. You gotta do what you can do at the end of the day.
For real. But one thing I love about like you, like I just feel like you're very natural at it. Like you speak very genuine, like what you felt like you need to like hit, if you need to like adjust, like your diet or cuts or anything like that. Like it really like stands out. And that's why like I love following, your journey. Like how long did it take for you to really get comfortable with the camera? Because it took me a while and I'm still kind of self-conscious where I'm like, man, I should like lean this way or don't smile too much of it. People can see your big gap. But see, I don't care no more now. But at the time though. So what about you? How'd you get comfortable with that?
I'm still not comfortable with the camera, to be quite honest. I
Could have fooled me. No, just like
I'm really good at just kind of forcing myself to do things, and I know that sounds horrible, but I have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, and talking to the camera makes me uncomfortable, but I know it's going to benefit me in the end, and it's going to make a better video because of that. So I tend to kind of just go through, like I'll take like an hour of like prep time before I start filming a video, thinking like, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to talk about this, I'm going to talk about this. And then I just kind of let it flow. After that, I have essentially a base plan of what I want to talk about. And then I just kind of start rambling, and then I'll clip here and there what I don't like or whatever. But I'm still very uncomfortable though. Don't let that fool you. It's not an appearance thing. It's more of like I get nervous when I talk, and not in like a weird way. Yeah, you
yeah.
understand.
Oh yeah. Same. My thing is I'm just like, I hope everyone can hear me clearly because I'm naturally just like a quiet person. So I'm getting out of my comfort zone, but I'm like, man, I love talking to people and love what I'm doing. So it's like I have to just say, basically fuck it and just go for it. But same
I
way.
never would have guessed that with you.
Really? Well, yeah. That's true. See, that's a good thing though, because like when I'm comfortable, like you get all of me, like all this
Yeah.
personality. But if I'm just trying to fill you out, you might get a real quiet version of me where I'm just reserved and like, okay, can I show them a little bit of my wacky side, cool, funny side? Nah, okay, yeah. It's constant battle in my head.
Right.
So, speaking about your last episode, I was watching. There was the ending really stuck out to me, where you was bringing up some goals, and you mentioned like some things that you had like on your, not to do list, but I think you said like your pot, you're stirring it up, got it cooking up. What are some of those things, if you don't mind diving into it? Like, what's next?
So I'm gonna be doing a Christmas series for bartending.
Hey,
The
okay.
whole month of December, I'm going to at least attempt to make a weekly video of a couple of Christmas drinks that I have in mind. I'm not going to reveal what they are because I'm still planning, but that is my intention starting this week, is to get a couple of Christmas drinks started. I also have the training vlogs coming, and then I actually had a coaching announcement that I was planning on posting here soon. I am a coach. I do coach powerlifting athletes, but we are actually expanding that, and we're taking on more clients right now. And we're also creating a drive where our clients can go in and see instructional videos from us on how to do a certain exercise. So if, let's say I had pause sumo deadlift programmed on a client's program, they can click on this drive, go look at it, and they can see the different types of cues I have, what I expect from them, and how to perform the exercise. And it's going to be this large drive filled with things like that, that me and Don are both working on for our Rise and Shine coaching. And it's just going to be a really awesome thing. I don't think I've ever actually heard of a coach doing that. And if they have, then I mean, I could be mistaken, but
I haven't.
it's
So this is great.
right. It's something I've wanted to do for a while. And I'm working towards getting that started by the end of this year, and then having it as like the beginning of next year, kind of like implementing it and having it really come to life. So I'm really looking forward to that for sure. Got a couple other things brewing that I'm not going to talk about just yet because
Okay. Stay tuned, right? Yeah.
yes, it's more so related to powerlifting and things that I am looking to hit next year. But with COVID, I'm not gonna hold that account. Like, I'm not gonna hold that to next year, because if COVID hits us again, obviously it's gonna be hard to compete and get what I want. So I've definitely got some things in that alley cooking though.
Awesome. I'm excited to, see you basically shine, on this journey. It looks like you got a lot of stuff going on. So let's dive into your coaching, because you got into powerlifting, or really that industry, around 2017. When did the coaching start for you as well?
So I was kind of like a personal trainer. I've never really cared for doing in-person training. I more so just did online things, where I really started out as a lifestyle personal trainer. I was helping people with their general weight loss goals, making sure that they stayed healthy, making sure that they are rehabbing anything that they needed to rehab. Like, I had a client who had a really bad knee, so I didn't make her do things that were triggering her knee, but I was also helping her to strengthen it at the same time. She had a goal to lose, I think it was 10 pounds by a wedding, and she ended up losing 15 because I had her following a certain set of macros. And it just kind of took off from there. And I started learning more about powerlifting and how to program. And I started learning from different coaches and reading up on things like this. And I just became very nerdy about it. And I watched a lot of YouTube videos. I listened to seminars. I learned from my coaches. I learned from Dom. I learned from my friends in the gym. I sought out a lot of information, and then I started to actually transition into a powerlifting coach. And of course, I'm still learning, and I'm always going to be learning. There is something new in this industry every single day, but I've really enjoyed being a powerlifting coach. It's not my full-time job. I would love for it to be my full-time job one day, but for now, I work full-time, and this is kind of like a side thing.
We're gonna speak into existence. It's coming. We
For
gotta,
real.
we gotta be positive. It's coming.
For real. I love all of my clients, though. They're all fantastic. I try to take on more female athletes than I do male. I think female strength is very important, especially in this day and age where women empowerment is a huge movement. And I want women to feel empowered by the barbell, and I want them to feel strong. I want them to feel good about themselves. So that's kind of where my main focus has been with powerlifting, is to get a barbell into women's hands and to teach them proper form, proper technique, so that they're not hurting themselves, so that they feel confident. And if they want to compete, then that's okay. They don't have to compete with me if they don't want to, but the end goal is to make women feel strong and empowered and sexy, I guess, in a sense. Is like, strong is sexy, and it's the truth. You don't see a lot of, like, quote unquote buff women out there, but I'm really loving seeing more strong women come to surface, and it's a wave. It's a wave for sure.
That is awesome, Becca. I can't wait, to continue to see, you shine in that as well. I mean, you got a lot of things, going on, and that's amazing. I'm definitely 100% behind you when it comes to empowering women. I try to push many of my family members that are women that are not on the fitness level. I'm like, come on, we gotta go get because
Right.
I know that grind, and there's a lot of self-doubt, but like when you have someone like you or Dom or these positive coaches that are willing to work with you guys, I mean, that is just truly amazing.
Right. I fully agree. Just, you got to get all the women in the gym. It doesn't even have to be for, being buff or stepping on a stage, just general health.
Mm-hmm. That's 100% true. Now let's dive into your bartending series. That is really cool. Like I when I first seen episode 1, I was like, oh wow, that's neat. And like, you really, like, I love how you just break it down, like, your ingredients, the type of things like mix to get the color that you want, right? Like, that's awesome. When did you decide to start that journey?
So I was a bartender in college. I worked at a brewery at first. I wasn't a bartender there. My recent restaurant, I started bartending right before the pandemic, and then the pandemic hit, and then, it kind of fell out with that. But I started back up whenever we started opening. I don't know. I missed bartending, and it was something that I had thought about earlier this year. I really love making drinks. I love the creativity behind it. I love that people get a certain sense of happiness when they taste certain drinks. And like, it's something that I guess in a sense grew up with. My parents like to drink, and not in a bad way or anything like that. Like, they enjoy drinking, but they're not like excessive with it. So I guess I was kind of taught to limit how much alcohol you use, and I have a very good basis of it. So when I got to actually bartending, I wanted to make sure that people were being safe about it, but also having fun and being able to wild out if they want to. My goal isn't to make you blackout drunk. My goal is to make you feel good. But with the bartending series, I wanted to showcase different drinks that are macro friendly, that are low in sugar, that are low in carbs. That I was trying to figure out a protein style alcoholic drink. It's hard. It's very hard to make it not taste like doo doo, but that's the truth. That's really hard. So I just, over time, it's been something that I've thought about, and then I was just kind of like, you know what? I'm moving to a new area. I need to try this. What do I have to lose? So I started doing it, and I got a really good response out of it, and I've kind of kept going with it. And even if I didn't get a really good response out of it, I still think I would have kept going, because it's fun. I actually really enjoy it, and I enjoy being able to share a certain level of creativity while also making people feel good. I will say it's an expensive little hobby of mine, though. Liquor is expensive.
So what's like your favorite drink to make so far?
I love martinis. I love a Cosmo. I love the lemon drop martini. I really love margaritas too. Personally, I'm a vodka person, so I drink a lot of Tito's and cranberry. Tito's is my favorite vodka for sure. People give me weird looks when I'm like, oh, I'm a vodka person. They expect me to be a whiskey person, but I'm not. I can appreciate whiskey, but for drinking on a regular, I'm going to drink vodka. It doesn't give me a hangover. But those are some of my favorite drinks to make. I'm looking to expand more into dark liquors, especially with December coming up, with whiskeys, with bourbons, you name it. It's something that I am just kind of journeying into and diving more into the creative aspect rather than the restaurant aspect of it.
Awesome. So do you plan on having like guests on your bartending show? Of course, with COVID going on, we're probably not going to have many guests, but like once the pandemic's over, do you plan on having like guests on the show, maybe doing like a, interview, as well as, fixing them a great drink and showing the world how to do it?
I wouldn't mind doing that. I've been considering talking to some of my other bartending friends and having them come on the show and do one of their favorite recipes with me, and then I do one of mine, and then we just kind of sit and compare and talk. I think that's kind of the goal. It's been something that I've been trying to get started with, but with COVID, I am a little bit hesitant with having people over that I don't see on the regular. So it's definitely something that's going to happen. Probably when the pandemic loosens up a little bit, but it's going to happen for sure.
Awesome. I can't wait. I'm going to stay tuned to that.
Awesome. So, thank you.
And, you're very, very much an animal lover, as, you post on social media and stuff. How long have you been loving animals? And of course, we got to talk about Bucky.
I grew up with dogs. So when I got to school, it was weird not having a dog. So I got Bucky 2 years ago or something like that. I've had him for a long time. He'll be 3 in March. I am actually not that big of an animal lover like you might think. I don't like cats. No. I'm allergic to cats. I think some cats are cute, but there's something about the claws that freak me out. Like at work, we have a work cat and she's cute, but like she's a psychopath, and I want an animal that wants me. I don't like that cats are super independent. Like I guess I want to feel needed by an animal. So, Bucky's like my little shadow. Like he follows me everywhere. I'm actually kind of surprised he's not here in the office with me right now. Usually he sits right underneath me underneath the desk, and he keeps my feet warm. But I grew up with dogs. I love having dogs. I want more dogs, but it's hard in an apartment.
Oh yeah, and I love dogs too. Cause my sister, she had a lot of cats at one point, and cats are assholes. I'm sorry, like for all my peeps that are cat lovers, I'm sorry. Oh wait,
I'm not sorry.
okay, I'm sorry. I thought I lost my connection, but yeah,
Oh no, you're
my
good.
yeah, my sister at one point had like 10 freaking cats because she took in a cat, then it got pregnant. Then got pregnant again. So then she's trying to get rid of all these cats, and I'm over at her house, and I mean they are mm, straight assholes. I'm sorry. All my peeps, my cat lovers, I'm sorry. Dogs is where it's at. Please get the dog.
Agreed. I fully agree with that.
So let's talk about Rise and Shine. You are very involved. For my peeps that seen, episode 3 with Dom, he talks about you a lot, how you guys come up with, designs and ideas. Um, when really did you get so like hands on with Rise and Shine, and where do you plan on taking that business?
So I am currently the CFO of Rise and Shine Lifestyle. I think I really started getting involved in early 2019. Of course, I have a business degree, so I was really helping with the financial aspect of it, with making sure that everything was flowing properly, making sure the invoicing was going good, stuff like that. And just I'm looking to really have it be its own entity one day, and making sure that it's making as much money as we can while also being fair and being honest and open and transparent. Um, I truly love this brand and I love what I do with it. I love my involvement with it, and I cannot imagine not being involved in it. Like, I guess in a way, it kind of turned into my baby as well as his. Um, I do have a little bit of a hand in the design process. Not that much because I'm not that creative. I'm creative in other ways, and so I just kind of like, okay, I like that design, let's go with it, and then I price it all out. I make sure that everything is running smoothly. I do like the accounting stuff. I help with the QuickBooks aspect of it, but I really do want to see it become its own entity and have it grow with us as we grow as individuals too. We added on coaching as an aspect to Rise and Shine Lifestyle. I would really love to see that take off too, but I've got a nice little 5-year plan in my head with it, but I don't want to talk too much about it because
Stay in
it's more
tune.
of like
I get it.
it's more of like a financial aspect of it. Just making sure that everything is flowing properly and whatnot, like I had mentioned. But I really do love it. I really would not trade it for the world.
True, and I love it too. I mean, I've been telling Dom really since probably 2015, really, since he really got the thing cooking. I was like, man, I want this thing to be as big as Nike. And it may be kind of far fetched because you're like, Nike's one of the biggest, out there. But I truly believe in you guys and your vision. You guys really love what you do, and it just the message behind it is just so amazing. And I love how everyone's story of Rise and Shine, it means something different to
Right.
everybody.
Hearing some of people's stories is just very chilling in a good way, because everyone has a different story and everyone has a different purpose in life. So being able to hear other people be vulnerable and resonate well with a brand that could easily very well not mean anything to them is huge. He competed earlier this month. I think it was November 7th is when he competed. We went to this meet and we just saw so many Rise and Shine shirts, and it just seeing that in person was just kind of like, wow, like this is what it's like. And we had people approaching us that had bought from the brand that told us like, hey, this really means a lot to me. And it was something different. And I felt very inspired in that moment because I was like, holy crap, people believe in us and they believe in what our message is. And that's all you can ask for at the end of the day. We could make $0 and be completely broke. But if the brand resonates well with somebody and it inspires them to do better in their life and to take control of who they are and to follow their dreams and their passions, then that's all that matters.
That's so
That's all
true.
we want.
That is so true. And the brand really means a lot to me, to you guys. I will always support you guys. I can't wait till the next one drops. You know, I'm getting me at least two because I decked my brother out in it too. You know, and the only reason I'm not wearing it actually right now is because after the interview, I have to get ready for a memorial service with my good friend. But I got nothing but love for you guys. So definitely continue all the great work. I can't wait to help out and keep it going. And I wish you guys nothing but success with it.
You've been our biggest supporter, Alvin. You already know.
Oh,
We
well.
love it. We really do. We've talked about it quite a few times. You're our biggest supporter, one of our biggest ones, and we love it. We love seeing you support us, and we want to do the same for you, of course. So
Thank you. You guys have. I mean, if it really wasn't for you guys, like message, like I'm my worst critic. I swear to God I am. And when I
yeah.
see messages from you and Dom about like, saying like you're really a natural at it, and Dom is like people's choice. You know how Dom is, he gotta get me all hype and stuff. And I'm just like, you know what? This is what it's about, man. You guys continue to push me. So I just hope, as much as you guys mean to me, how much you guys push me, I'm giving that back to you guys because you guys mean the world to me. I want to see you guys succeed, and I guess vice versa.
Right.
So let's talk about Dom a little bit, though. I had I had in our episode 3, I had him talk about you a little. So let's talk about him. It's only fair we reverse it up.
I mean, what do you want to know?
Well, let's see. I'm trying to remember how I phrased the question for Dom. I think I just asked him, just basically, what you meant to him and everything. So, how about you? What does Dom mean to you?
Whew, that's a loaded question.
Oh, we got all day. No, I'm just playing.
Dom just is a very inspiring person, and he has really helped me grow in a lot of ways that I probably would not have grown. I'm sure I would have gotten there at some point, but he is really just one of a kind. You can't find anybody else like him, and I am very proud to be in a relationship with him and be able to powerlift with him, to run a business together. I get to do a lot of things with him that most couples probably don't get to do with their partner. So I'm very blessed and grateful to be able to share so many things in common with him and different passions. And he is really someone I feed off of. And I get my knowledge from him in an aspect anyway. I don't know, he's just an overall really dope individual that you really don't get anywhere else. He truthfully is just one of a kind. You cannot get him anywhere else. I love him to death. So
That's so sweet, and it's so true. Like that's one thing. Like I'm so glad you guys moved to Raleigh and team to grow. But damn it, I miss you guys being close. Just feeding off that energy that Dom will bring and just his ideas. I mean, he is truly awesome. Not to toot his horn too much, but Dom, you're great, man.
Yeah.
So.
Definitely pushed me to do YouTube for sure. I'd been on the fence about it for such a long time that he was just kind of like, come on, just start doing it. So I did. And now here we are.
Here we are. Yeah. So are you ready for your mailbag questions?
Yes.
Awesome.
For sure.
This is like everyone's favorite part of the show. All right. So I got first question is from Ryan. He says, I'm trying to become a YouTuber myself, but I'm not sure where to start. What advice can you share with me?
Don't worry about having a camera. Don't worry about having the best camera. Don't worry about your background. Don't worry about anything. Just pick up a phone, pick up some kind of camera that you can talk to, and just start. I edit on iMovie. I don't have like high production skills, I just kind of piece clips together and hope for the best. You gotta get started with it more than anything. You gotta just dive into it. Don't let any other factors or other people tell you that you need X, Y, and Z. Just start with recording something simple. It doesn't even have to be a long video. Like if you play video games, stream on Twitch, upload it to YouTube. It's that simple. You just got to find ways to be creative about it while also being able to talk about something that you want to talk about, figure out what the purposes of your channel, where you want to take it, how you want to go about it. Just have a certain plan in mind, but don't be afraid to just pick it up and start. I guess that's the best advice that I have anyway. That's pretty much what I did. I was just like, okay, I'm just going to start doing this and just kind of wing it as I go. And then I started formulating a better plan, and I was just like, okay, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. So it takes a little bit of, I guess, discomfort, like I had mentioned earlier in the podcast. But once you get past that level of discomfort, it gets a little bit easier each time.
Awesome. That's some great advice right there. This one comes from Bailey. She says, what championships / medals mean the most to you and why? I love how just look back. Let me look at my collection.
I would have to say my first meet medal, actually. I competed in a very small federation called 365 Powerlifting for my first meet. And granted, I don't think I actually had any competition, so it was kind of like a landslide thing. But it was my introduction to powerlifting, and it's what got me hooked. Even though I didn't have the best of days, I was instantly just like, wow, this is fun. I enjoy this a lot. So I think that's probably the first one that meant the most to me. Was my, it was my first competition, and it started everything for me, and then it just kind of blew up from there.
Awesome. It's all about that first, that first start, that first whoof, and you just get the ball rolling. All right, this one comes from Michael. I think this is the one I was telling you about earlier, where he said, did you play any sports in high school or in college?
I did. So I have been an athlete my whole life. I think I mentioned that as well. Mm-hmm. I started, what did I do? I started with softball. I did softball, bowling, yeah. Weird, right?
Shoot, bowling is intense. So we play it with me.
Right. It's definitely intense with me too. I did softball, bowling. I did gymnastics for a long time. So that's kind of where my powerlifting background started, I guess, with like muscle fiber twitch and whatever, but beside the point. And then in high school or middle school, I did cheerleading. High school, I did cross country and track and soccer, and I think I did something else, but it's slipping my mind. But I ran cross country from my freshman year all the way to my freshman year of college. And then my sophomore year, I quit because I had a procedure done on my Achilles. I used to run marathons. Oh, I did triathlons. That's what I was thinking of. I did triathlons at high school too, as well as marathons. I ran a marathon my senior year right before graduation of high school, and I almost blew out my Achilles, and there was a tear inside of it. So I had to get a procedure done after my freshman year of college running cross country and track. So it kind of ruined that, or not ruined, but it ended my running career. And then that's when I found powerlifting, and then powerlifted my sophomore, senior year of college. And now I'm still here.
Awesome. That's crazy, though. I didn't know you had that injury, and that's amazing. You were able to bounce back from that, because those are legit career-ending injuries. Those Achilles, it's like when you lose that, whew, it's rough.
Right. I don't even notice it anymore. Like, I forgot that I actually injured it. I don't feel any pain anymore, so I'm pretty happy about that, because it was pretty painful.
Like even when it rains, they say when it rains, the old injuries just start aching and nagging.
Yep.
You don't feel anything?
No. I feel my back mostly.
Oh, tell me about it. Oh, I have a bad back. Oh, I'll dive into that one day, but I feel you on that. All right. So the next question comes from Nancy. It says, I love your bartending with Becca series. I must ask though, what do you prefer, clear or dark? I feel like that's like a big statement, like clear or dark, bro.
Without a doubt, clear. I can't do it. I can't do dark liquors. I've tried so many times, but it doesn't taste the same to me. I love vodka. That's my biggest one, vodka. If you want to make me happy, buy me a handle of Tito's. That's all I need. I can make so many different drinks with it. With whiskey, you can't do that. I'm not going to go out of my way to make a whiskey margarita. It's going to taste disgusting. But with clear liquor, I feel like you can do a lot more than you can with dark liquors anyway.
Sorry, Nancy. It's not gonna be no Hennessy shots with Becca.
Oh, ooh,
I'm
smells like
sorry.
candy.
I'm
Ugh.
sorry, Nancy. That was funny. Okay, this one comes from Alexander. Ooh, this is Alexander from Germany. He is on the show last episode. He says, "What is the most challenging obstacle you've overcame in your life?"
So it's about to get real personal for a second. I suffered from an eating disorder for a long time. I dealt with anorexia and bulimia when I was younger, and it created a destructive eating habit when I got older. When I was in college, when I got to college, I only weighed about 100 pounds at like 18 years old, which I mean is obviously not very good. Um, I think it took me a long time to kind of really get it under control and realize that food was not my enemy. It very much impacted my adult life and how I view food, and it's been something that I still battle to this day. And of course, it's gotten so much better. And I've been to therapy for it. I have truly overcome it, and I'm healthy. But it's the mental repercussions of it that have been hard. I've recovered physically, and I've been recovered physically for a while, but the mental aspect of it is kind of what is hardest to come back from. And that's part of the reason why I actually started powerlifting. Is I wanted to feel more in control of my body, and I wanted to feel in control of what I was doing with it. So, we have to, not everybody in powerlifting does this anyway, but I have a certain amount of macros that I eat, and I don't force myself to, I guess, eat under that. I try my best to eat as much as I possibly can without harming myself, or without, just, I guess, just not creating bad habits in that process. And it's been very enlightening for me, and I have felt the best I've ever felt when it comes to food because of that. But like I said, it's been a very long journey, and sometimes I still have instances where I'm like, I shouldn't eat this, I shouldn't eat that, but then I'm like, why shouldn't I, why can't I? So it's that constant question that I have to remember and be like, why can't I? Who's saying no? Who's saying I can't? And it's just me. So yeah, I think that's probably the most challenging thing I've had to overcome. It still affects me to this day, but I've made quite a lot of progress since that first instance.
Thank you, Becca. That's amazing that you have overcame that, and that you're willing to share that too. I know that's very personal with you. So thank you. And thank you, Alexander, again. It's 2 weeks in a row you come with these tough questions now.
For real.
All right. This one comes from Brandy. She says, "What do you like to do on your spare time?"
I like to video game. So yeah, I've been playing video games for as long as I can remember. So when I'm not in the gym, I'm not at work, and I'm not doing something related to business or coaching or whatever, I love to video game. I really wanted to try and start streaming on Twitch, but with the way my schedule is, it's very hard. Like after we get off this podcast, I have to go work out, and then I have to write a client program, then I have to do something for work. Like I'm always doing something, so it's hard to find the time to video game now. But I've always loved it, and I try to pick it up as much as I can without it interfering with like my other day-to-day tasks.
I must ask though, what's your favorite video game?
Depends on what console we're talking about. Are we talking
Oh, okay.
PC?
Look at you. You're spreading out the consoles now. Okay. Gee, well, I'm an Xbox guy, so let's say Xbox.
I think Halo 3 or Halo Reach was my favorite when I was younger. I loved Call of Duty when it was good.
That's so true.
I grew up playing the PlayStation. I had a PS1. I still have a PS1. I had a PS2. Never really got into PlayStation 3, 4, and definitely not 5, considering that price tag. But I switched to Xbox in high school. I played a lot of Minecraft. I know it sounds nerdy. Played a lot of Minecraft. I played a lot of different things. I loved Left 4 Dead. I loved Black Ops Zombies. I can't really ever say what's my favorite. I'm one of those people. Like, I don't have favorite things. I love everything that I do. Like, it's when I love something, I'm all in. I love all of it. I play the Switch a lot now. I still have an Xbox, but I've kind of ventured back into playing a Switch. I've beat Breath of the Wild. I'm trying to get through the Master Mode right now. I love playing Stardew Valley. That's a really, really fun game. It's very relaxing.
Okay.
When I played PC, I played competitive Overwatch. I don't play PC anymore. I do play The Sims, but I feel like that's different.
It's like Sims is life. What you talking about, right?
This is one of those things where like you can put it down for 2 years and then like you pick it back up and you'll play it for 6 months straight. Like no sleep, no eating. It's just one of those things.
Yeah, you and my sister would be great friends because her favorite game is The Sims and Left 4 Dead. So y'all would be tight.
I love it. I love it.
All right, this one comes from Terry. He says, "What is your favorite and least favorite workout?"
Terry, is that my dad? My dad's name is Terry.
Uh-oh.
I was like, oh, my favorite workout. I think right now it's bench. It really depends on how the block is going and what's moving and how my season's going. But right now it's for sure bench. My least favorite is probably hip thrusts. I hate hip thrusting. I think it's so dumb. I've never enjoyed it. I understand the purposes of it and the science behind it and yada yada yada, but hip thrusting is just so boring to me. Like it's not fun. There's nothing fun about it. You just have this weird pad sitting on your crotch the whole time, and like you can feel the bar digging in, and you're just like, this isn't fun.
I'm laughing because my coach from episode 1, Coach Stone, I know you're gonna watch this. He used to get on me about it because I have horrible hips. I have no rhythm. And he said one time, he said, "Damn it, Alvin, you keep doing it like that. Your girl's gonna call me, and I'm 60 something." At the time, he could say that's why I start laughing. I'm like, "Oh, I feel you, Becca. I hate it."
Oh my god! And don't get me wrong, I still do them. I just don't enjoy them. Like it's not fun.
All right, and this one comes from Anna. This is one of the last ones. Says, "What is your favorite music to get your mind right before you go work out or coach?"
Ooh, I am a metalhead to the core. I really love death metal. I love hard rock. I love the new wave of rock. I love alternative music. I have a very wide variety of music tastes, but when I'm about to go work out, heavy metal is my go-to, especially for meet day. I have a meet day playlist with all of my favorite songs, things that have really sick drops in it. Like,
okay. What's the go-to song where you're like, I play this, this is it?
It really depends. I kind of cycle through them. I love Bad Omens. I love In This Moment. Let me pull it up. There's other ones that I'm missing and I know it. I love Era. I recently discovered Era. I really enjoyed Chelsea Gren. You can't go wrong with a good Chelsea Gren song.
True.
Let me see. I've got a couple other ones that I like to listen to. Fit for a King. I love most of their songs. Their new album was actually a lot better than I was expecting it to be. Knocked Loose, especially. I've really been getting into Knocked Loose recently. They're a pretty good band. There's a couple others that I know that I'm missing that aren't on my playlist, but like when I find them, I'm just like, oh, I forgot about this song.
That good old shuffle button. That's me. I'm like, oh, what? Oh man, I got some snap on here. So, Becca, thank you for giving me the time. I know about your busy schedule. We're about to wrap it up here. One thing I always ask my guests, though, because I'm a quote guy. I love quotes. What's your favorite quote or something that was like drilled in your brain that you constantly like use to this day or pass down to like your clients or whatever?
Never half-ass anything. Always give it your whole ass.
I like that. It's kind of funny too, but it's so serious. Like, never half-ass anything. Give it your whole ass.
I like to call out my clients sometimes. Just be like, hey, don't half-ass this, man. Like, at least give it your whole ass. That's something I've heard for a long time. I don't know where it came from. I really don't. Like, I just heard it when I was younger, and I was like, I like that. That's kind of funny.
Well, you're owning it now. That's your cult.
Yeah.
For all my peeps
Really.
out there. Becca, thank you again. It's truly an honor to interview you. Continue have a great workout, great, coaching, just great everything, man. Because you're great.
Well, thanks for having me. Seriously, I really appreciate it. It's my first podcast, so hopefully I was an entertaining guest for the most part.
Oh yeah, definitely. You're a natural at this too. See, so who knows? Put that in the pot now.
I do want to say, as a side note to your question earlier about who actually inspires me, it's
Yes.
the people around me that do inspire me, though. Like, it's not just me, of course, but it's hard to name people because, you can find inspiration in anything and everything. So you just have to know where to look for it. And, of course, I guess inspire myself in a sense, but I am inspired by the randomest things. So just, I guess that's another quote to end off with too. You can look for inspiration in anything. You just have to actually look for it.
I love that. Where can all the people find you? All my peeps and all of your peeps.
Um, Instagram is BecDA Tank. And so is my YouTube. You can find me on those two platforms. I have like Twitter and stuff like that, but they're all set to private because that's it's Twitter.
Oh yeah.
But I primarily use Instagram and YouTube, and suppose it's the same username for both of those. So just give me a shout on there if anybody has questions. I'm more than happy to answer them, especially if it's like powerlifting related or anything like that. You don't have to hire me as a coach. I'm more than happy to answer questions for people that ask. So
Awesome. So you guys make sure you follow Becca the Tank. Follow her on Instagram, YouTube. Check out her YouTube series, guys. I mean, it's very good, and she's getting better and better each time. Becca, again, thank you for your time, and I hope you have a great day.
thanks. I hope you do too.
Thank you. Love to have you back on the show too. Okay, in the future,
Sure, for sure. I would love that.
definitely. Have a great one.
Thanks, you too.
Bye.
Bye.